Nigeria is often called the giant of Africa, and the nickname is not just about size. It reflects a country whose population, economy, culture, and political influence shape much of the continent's future. Located in West Africa, Nigeria sits between the dry Sahel region to the north and the Gulf of Guinea on the Atlantic Ocean to the south. It covers more than 923,000 square kilometers, making it a large country geographically, but its true scale becomes clearer when looking at its people. With more than 242 million inhabitants, Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa and one of the most populous countries in the world. That population gives Nigeria a huge domestic market, a vast workforce, and a level of cultural influence that travels far beyond its borders. Nigeria's geography helps explain both its opportunities and its complexity. The country borders Niger to the north, Chad to the northeast, Cameroon to the east, and Benin to the west. To the south, its coastline opens onto the Gulf of Guinea, connecting Nigeria to Atlantic trade routes. This position places it at the crossroads of West and Central Africa, linking inland markets with coastal commerce. The north is shaped by drier landscapes closer to the Sahel, while the south includes more humid coastal and forest zones. These regional differences have influenced settlement patterns, agriculture, trade, religion, and politics over centuries. Nigeria is not a single uniform space. It is a vast meeting point of environments, economies, and communities. Politically, Nigeria is a federal republic made up of 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The capital, Abuja, was developed as a more central and neutral seat of government, replacing Lagos as the administrative capital. Lagos, however, remains the country's largest city by population and one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the world. It is also one of Africa's most important commercial hubs. This split between Abuja and Lagos tells an important story. Abuja represents national governance and political balance, while Lagos represents economic energy, urban growth, finance, media, technology, and culture. Together, they show how Nigeria functions through multiple centers of power rather than one single dominant identity. One of Nigeria's defining features is its extraordinary diversity. It is home to more than 250 ethnic groups and around 500 distinct languages. The three largest ethnic groups are the Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, who together make up more than 60% of the population. But Nigeria's identity cannot be reduced to only these groups. Across the country are many communities with their own histories, political traditions, languages, festivals, foods, music, and belief systems. English serves as the official language, chosen as a practical tool for national communication in a country where no single indigenous language could represent everyone. This diversity is a source of creativity and resilience, but it also requires constant negotiation in politics, education, religion, and national unity. Religion is another major part of Nigeria's national life. The constitution guarantees freedom of religion, and the country is home to some of the world's largest Muslim and Christian populations. Broadly speaking, Muslims are more concentrated in the north, while Christians are more concentrated in the south. Indigenous religious traditions, including those connected to Yoruba and Igbo cultures, continue to exist, sometimes independently and sometimes blended with other faiths. This religious landscape is not just a matter of private belief, it influences holidays, education, family life, politics, and regional identity. Nigeria's religious diversity reflects its history as a crossroads of trans-Saharan trade, Atlantic connections, local traditions, missionary activity, and modern migration. Modern Nigeria became formally independent from Britain on October 1, 1960, as a federation. Independence brought hope, but also difficult questions about how such a large and diverse country should govern itself. Regional competition, ethnic tensions, and disputes over power soon became serious challenges. From 1967 to 1970, Nigeria experienced a devastating civil war, often known as the Biafran War, after the attempted secession of the eastern region. The conflict left deep scars and remains one of the most important events in the country's modern history. After the war, Nigeria went through alternating periods of military rule and civilian government. It was not until the 1999 presidential election that the country entered its current era of more stable democratic governance. Nigeria's democracy is significant because governing the country means balancing enormous complexity. A federal system is designed to distribute power across states and regions, helping different communities feel represented. Yet challenges remain, including corruption, insecurity, economic inequality, and tensions over resources and political influence. The country's size makes governance difficult. Policies must work for megacities, farming communities, oil-producing regions, northern trade centers, and fast-growing technology hubs. Despite these challenges, Nigeria remains a major regional power. Its decisions affect West Africa's security, migration, trade, and diplomacy. Through organizations such as the African Union, ECOWAS, the United Nations, the Commonwealth, OPEC, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Nigeria plays a visible role in international affairs. Economically, Nigeria is one of Africa's largest and most important economies. It is often grouped with countries such as South Africa and Egypt as a continental heavyweight. By nominal GDP, Nigeria ranks among the largest economies in Africa, and by purchasing power parity it is even more significant. The World Bank regards Nigeria as an emerging market, reflecting both its potential and its risks. Its huge population creates demand for food, housing, energy, transport, finance, entertainment, and digital services. But economic size does not automatically mean prosperity for everyone. Nigeria has to turn growth into jobs, infrastructure, stable prices, and broader opportunity. The central economic question is whether the country can convert its demographic scale into long-term development. Oil has long been central to Nigeria's economy, especially through exports from the Niger Delta. But the country is also trying to move beyond being mainly a crude oil exporter. The opening of the Dangote refinery in 2023 marked a major shift, giving Nigeria the ability to process more of its own petroleum and export refined fuel and fertilizer. This matters because refining adds value domestically and can reduce dependence on imported fuel. In recent years, Nigeria has recorded strong trade surpluses, including a historically high quarterly surplus in early 2026. Forecasts from the World Bank suggest that Nigeria could achieve its strongest economic growth in a decade during 2026 and 2027. If sustained, that growth could reshape the country's development path. Nigeria is also one of Africa's leading technology and finance hubs. Lagos has become the leading financial center in West and Central Africa, and the country is especially important in fintech. Nigeria accounts for a major share of African fintech companies and has attracted a large portion of venture capital funding in the sector. Many African tech startups originate in Nigeria, and several of the continent's tech unicorns are based there. This rise is driven by real needs. Millions of people require better payment systems, mobile banking, credit access, e-commerce tools, and business services. Young entrepreneurs are building solutions for a fast-growing, mobile-first population. Nigeria's tech ecosystem shows how demographic pressure can become innovation pressure. Nigeria's global influence is not only economic or political, it is deeply cultural. Its film industry, known as Nollywood, is one of the most productive in the world, rivaled in output only by giants like Hollywood and Bollywood. For decades, Nollywood built its success on fast, low-cost productions that spoke directly to African audiences. More recently, the industry has also pushed toward higher production quality and international recognition. Nigerian music has experienced an even more visible global breakthrough. Afrobeats artists regularly appear on international charts, win awards, and collaborate with major global stars. Literature is another pillar of influence. In 1986, Wole Soyinka became the first Black African to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. Infrastructure is one of the biggest factors that will shape Nigeria's future. A country of more than 242 million people needs railways, ports, airports, power systems, roads, and urban transport capable of supporting rapid growth. China has become an important player through companies involved in rail, port, and airport development, increasing Beijing's influence in Nigeria. France's development agency has also supported infrastructure and environmental projects. These investments are important because weak infrastructure raises the cost of doing business, slows trade, and limits opportunity. But infrastructure financing also brings strategic questions about debt, dependency, and control over key national assets. For Nigeria, the challenge is to build quickly while protecting long-term sovereignty and sustainability. Nigeria's story is one of scale, pressure, and possibility. It is a country with hundreds of languages, major religious communities, deep regional differences, and a complicated political history. It is also a country with one of the world's largest populations, a powerful cultural export machine, a growing technology sector, and major economic potential. Its future will matter far beyond its borders. If Nigeria succeeds in expanding infrastructure, creating jobs, managing diversity, strengthening institutions, and turning growth into broad prosperity, it could become one of the most important countries of the 21st century. The Giant of Africa is not just a description of what Nigeria is today. It is a question about what Nigeria may become next. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.